Let's go from Santo Domingo to Nueva York. It's Fabian perspective, so expect it and accept it. It got friendly fire on ALLBALL TV. Let's get right into it. Ice Cube versus Notorious B.I.G. We call him Biggie, call him Big. Might say pause. I think this was a very interesting conversation the last week or two. I might be a little bit late, but I'm still on the cusp of it. And you might want to know what I think. I think you know what I want to think. Or I think you want to know what I think because you clicked and you still listening. This was really interesting for me because as soon as you heard this and it went down, you heard who the best storyteller was in rap history, it became an argument. Who's the most influential? Who's the better rapper? It became an argument. Obviously, I'm from New York. People say I have an accent. I think you guys have an accent, but it's all good because I prefer Southern accents. Dominican accents kind of drive me crazy. What else? I'm trying to think. Those are the two right there. I don't like Spaniard accents. They get away from me if you have a Spaniard accent. The conquistador accent. Get away from me. Point is, Biggie, I'm from New York, so some things are going to be obvious. When you say who the better rapper is, I don't think that that's close. Like, I think there's a gap between Ice Cube rapping and Biggie rapping. Biggie rapping was a different level. Like, there's only like Nas, Jay, and again, that's the East Coast bias thing. Gotta be, but we perfected that. That is our thing. Ice Cube was one of the ones who, from the West Coast, who revolutionized West Coast rap. He revolutionized music, period. But lyrically, he brought in their Melly Mel, their Broken Glass everywhere by being straight out of Compton and brought in the realism of, police brutality, a lot of things with NWA. So he painted vivid pictures from that aspect. Once Upon a Time in the Project. So his lyrics provided pictures for us. And the movement was insane. But Biggie could make classic records on any type of record. He just rapped. His voice, his style, his rhythm, how he kept his rhythm with his rhymes and was still telling a story and was still having a punchline. His punchlines were just more wicked, more slick. He had some weak punchlines, do not get me wrong. Biggie was very simple, but genius kind of style of rapping. And Ice Cube kept it very simple, straight to the point. But Big just, pop left Mom Dukes took the back way. Like it's slick. Jay-Z perfected this sarcastic, slick talk. I don't think there are too many people who can slick talk like that. And again, if you want to say I'm East Coast biased, then you go right ahead and do that. But there are way too many verses from Big that I have to rewind because I enjoy them that much. And with Ice Cube is more, I like the songs, so I had to rewind it. And Big has that as well. So when it comes to just rapping style and just rapping in general, they pick up a microphone and you just listen to what they're saying. Damn, Biggie just has a way of emceeing and rapping better than Ice Cube. I don't care who your favorite rapper is, Jay-Z, none of these guys. It's very hard to go and overpower or take the light from a Big when he's the kind of guy that's his voice is too commanding, his presence is too commanding, and then he's so sarcastic and vulnerable. It's like the 8 Mile thing with Eminem, black and ugly as ever. However, so before you can even steal his shine, he already knows what you think about him. He points to the elephant in the room and he has no problems with it. So that kind of communication to the listener, I think, it's a different level. Ice Cube was raw, got to the point, and it was very serious. He had funny moments, of course, when he went at NWA, and those were hilarious, influential, impactful. But when it comes to just straight rapping, I gotta give B.I.G the nod. Just skill wise, he's that dude. Now, I just mentioned impactful, influence. That's a different conversation, Papa. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you think I'm crazy already. Let me know if I have an East Coast bias already. Fabian PerspecTV, so expect it and accept it. That friendly fire on ALLBALL TV. We will be the most influential, the most impactful. Just like I believe. And remember, I have an East Coast bias, right? I love B.I.G. I will listen to Biggie way more times than Ice Cube. Way more times than Ice Cube. It's not close. Way more times than Ice Cube. But he's not as impactful and influential as Ice Cube. Notorious B.I.G, Biggie Smalls was not as impactful and influential as Ice Cube. Ice Cube is that deal. Ice Cube was ahead of his time. Ice Cube was the guy who showed everybody, hey, you don't see what Jerry Heller and them is doing? I'm out of here. This guy's the devil. He's trying to get you guys. Everything Dame Dash was talking about, everyone's talking about right now, Ice Cube, he didn't just talk about it. He's been about it. That's why right now, when he's going through what he's going through now, I'm not too sure about what he's going through currently, right? He's saying the NBA is blackballing him, basically. And the biggest and the reason why I listen to him, even if let's say he's straight up lying, he would lose credibility. But that stack of credibility that he earned, he well earned it. He has well earned it. He was writing for NWA. He had every reason to stay with them. I'm pretty sure they put him under pressure. Like, we're not getting paid because of you. And he's like, we ain't getting paid because of him. Because of these guys up top. They're robbing us. That in itself is highly influential. Eazy-E is one of the most influential people in hip-hop history. And he had to wedge himself away from him. That can't be denied. That's number one. Number two, now let's get to the music. NWA, he wrote for them. Without him, there is no NWA. What are we doing? There is no NWA. Dr. Dre will have to go back to some world-class wrecking crew. Maybe find Snoop Dogg. I don't know. But there is no NWA. And everything after NWA was a copy of NWA. I don't care. I'm sorry. It's an influence. Death Row was influenced by NWA. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Even when Ice Cube did later with the Lynch Mob. Wu-Tang. Rockefeller. Rough Riders. G-Unit. Everything is an NWA carbon copy. Dr. Dre told 50 Cent, yeah, I know what you're doing. It's NWA all over again. I get it. That doesn't happen without Ice Cube, period. Gangster rap music is like what The Godfather was. NWA is like the Godfather to music. What The Godfather was to the movies, NWA is to rap music. And after that, I believe The Godfather 2 is like Doggy Style. But I digress. There is no... rap music might be in a whole nother lane if it wasn't for NWA. Right? What MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice were doing, that's cool. It's okay because the balance is NWA. Right? And the heavy part of that is Ice Cube. Him breaking away from them, as I just mentioned previously, was major as well. That breakup, again, was influential. What did he do? He dissed NWA's former partners. One of the craziest diss records of all time. What we heard, No Vaseline, was just like insane. That was relegated to like underground music. But now you have one of the biggest, most popular people in the country beefing. So when you come out with a diss record, everybody hears it. That was insane. I mean, it's KRS-One did it before him, and he attacked everybody. But this was more serious because this was a personal attack, right? So it was kind of the first time we've seen this personal beef amongst other artists. Once again, Ice Cube did it first. He broke the ground on this. He did it again on Jackin' for Beats. Jackin' for Beats is a record where he's sampling a whole bunch of other records, including 100 Miles of Running with NWA. Samples the record, uses a whole bunch of samples of records that already exist that were hot at the time in the late 80s, early 90s, right? Some PMD stuff. That was not allowed back in the day. You were not allowed to sound like anybody, let alone use somebody else's producer. You can't use somebody else's sound back then. That's why a lot of people, if you look at the early 90s, a lot of you young guys, anybody who's younger, you might look back and think, why do they sound like that? Like Daz Effects and all that fast rapping. They were doing that because it was taboo to sound like anybody else. You had to sound different. Ice Cube was ushering in, breaking ground on, hey, it's okay to sample. It's okay to sample. That's what he's saying. Jackin' for Beats is the genesis to mixtapes. You kidding me? We look at 50, Dipset. We argue about who had the first mixtape in the modern era, right? I could get to how Tupac influence really ushered in and made it popular to have music on the street and music in general as a flood into the market. Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, even Drake, all these modern artists were, everybody, you name them, were starting to rap over other people's beats. Sticky Fingers had a Jackin' for Beats song. So that was inspired by Ice Cube. Game had 100 Miles of Running, 200 Miles of Running, where he's rapping for 4 or 5 minutes, and he's jacking for beats. You know who else was jacking for beats? The Notorious B.I.G. On one of the most famous, one of his best freestyles. He just rapping over West Coast beats. One of maybe the dopest freestyle we ever had. I've played that probably top 10 out of all my Biggie songs that I am in his catalog. I played his Jackin' for Beats version of the West Coast of Dr. Dre beats and Death Row beats more than like some of his songs in his catalog because it was so sick. And Flex used to play that at nighttime. Sick of mama, get a job, pressed to the limit, about to rob me. But where was that inspired by? You guessed it. Your man Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson. After all that, the beefing and everything, on the midst of all that, he goes ahead and makes a couple more albums. The Death Certificate being one of them. Now remember, there's a theme here with Death Certificate and everything like that, and that's has to to do with death and having that on your mind and the reality of what's going on, your true reality. Once upon a time in the projects, the way to rap like that. He's working with the Bomb Squad, though. The Bomb Squad was Public Enemy's producers, East Coast. This was unheard of. So again, breaking ground again. He's not gonna get these props because I don't listen to those albums like that. I've never cared for Ice Cube albums. I'll be the first to tell you that. But I acknowledge accomplishments. I acknowledge and respect his influence. He's the first to do that. He broke ground. So then when Nas comes out with Illmatic, he has 4 super producers. It's okay kind of now 92, 93, after Ice Cube already done left NWA, and you gave him no choice but to go work with who inspired Dr. Dre a lot, the Bomb Squad, with the bad feed, the Mike bad feed style music, and him working with them was just like a real connection. He's connecting the past and the present. That's what he was doing, and he was connecting the future. Like, this is the way to go. This is 90s rap. 90s rap was now a bunch of money, millions and billions of dollars involved. We can no longer talk about what we can't do anymore. Don't tell me you got to be original, because there's so much originality left, and it's not going to make money. Ice Cube is a part of these, I want to say, maybe 8 people of the 1980s. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Rap, KRS-One, Slick Rick, Ice Cube. These are the guys that, when you listen to the 90s rappers, I don't care if it's Pac or Big, they copied and influenced, they were influenced off of Ice Cube. Tupac sounded a lot like Ice Cube early on. His flow. Biggie's Ready to Die is totally inspired by Death Certificate and Ice Cube's albums. So when we talk about the influence of Ice Cube, like, we'll go to movies and everything like that, how he was able to pivot from, the business side. And I spoke on that a little bit with the, Jerry Heller, and he's the devil, and he broke free from them. And Ice Cube goes on and makes movies, produces movies and makes them. He's doing the big 3 right now. So again, we're not even talking about that enough. And he's on here going crazy online. And all this credibility that he has currently is primarily because of what he's been through. What we know, he's a rebel with a cause. So we know, like, we got to listen to Ice Cube. I truly don't know what maybe I got to look more into what he's going through, but I believe him because of what he's been through. Like, he got the rep, he got the credibility for us. So impact, influence, Big ain't got. He's influenced by Ice Cube. That's like I always say, everyone brings up Michael Jordan and Steph Curry and LeBron James and whoever else for influence, but they don't bring up Dr. J. Dr. J is the beginning of all of this. He's the beginning of everything. Ice Cube is a part of the beginning of commercial rap. In order for you to make money off this kind of music, Ice Cube was part of the reason why you sounded the way that you did today. All that, I don't care if it's drill rap. You're talking about what's really going on. And so was Ice Cube. And he did it in a way where it wasn't corny. It was very serious. You totally believed them. Drill rap, these guys are beefing with each other. Ice Cube was on record beefing with his former people. So I think there's a gap between influence, and it's a salute. And I think if Biggie was alive, he would give him his flowers. God bless the dead, by the way. I think he would give Ice Cube his flowers because he knows. He would tell you, like, nah, Cube was the reason we, Ready to Die was like that. Like, come on, Cube was that dude. Cube was that dude. He's the one who took those chances. He was a rebel with a cause. So that I just definitely wanted to speak on that. And also, I guess the last thing that I saw was the storytelling. And again, that goes back to their styles. And I just think a part of both of their styles is storytelling. Scarface is not mentioned enough, right? Like, he has this very introspective, darkness to him, even darker than Ice Cube. But Cube was really more raw, to the point, and just like matter of fact about his style. It wasn't too descriptive, but Biggie was just a different level of storyteller. That's you talk about, he's being sarcastic. He's being matter of factly. I think he's telling a story every which way possible. Like, Nas doesn't even have that per se. Nas is more, you could tell he's just telling the story, and he just drew it up, and his again, I think he's up there as well. Slick Rick, all these guys, even the young 50 Cent is up there. But Biggie was just able to, it really did sound like a movie. And Puff and the Hitman, the production was a part of that. But Cube had the best producers of his day as well. So I just got to give the nod to Frank White, B.I.G. with the storytelling. And I don't know how you guys feel, but let me know how you guys feel. Like, comment, subscribe. Should I go back to Santo Domingo? Fabian perspective, so expect it and accept it. It's that friendly fire on ALLBALL TV. You already know, man.